Welcome to the Illuminati versus Cannabis video. In this video, we're going to discuss how the populist movement to legalize marijuana is being hijacked by the powers that shouldn't be in order to take over another industry and twist it for their own profiteering, evil purposes. And that industry is the emerging cannabis market.
I know you don't smoke weed. I know this. But I'm gonna get you high today. Cause it's Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
On this channel, you will call weed either cannabis or ganja because the term marijuana is a false term given it to it by the powers that shouldn't be in order to make it easier to make cannabis illegal. So the industry's response to the rise of cannabis being used for a whole variety of things was to give it a new name that came from Mexico called marijuana, then run a whole bunch of vicious campaign ads against it. And no, it's not the devil's harvest. It's not, the smoke of hell. This is exactly the type of propaganda that they tried to use in order to keep this plant illegal because people could grow it in their own backyards, and it was a replacement for a whole bunch of other things, including a whole bunch of pharmacopoeia. So unless a crop can be turned easily into cash and completely controlled by the Illuminati, they prohibit that crop and make it illegal so that they can control the black market. And that's exactly what they did. As prohibition of alcohol created the mafia, which is run by the Illuminati, prohibition of marijuana has created the drug cartels, which are run by the Illuminati. Because if you look up HSBC or you look up Wells Fargo, you'll see that both of those big major central banks have been involved in laundering the money. And that's what it all comes back to, is the money, which is exactly why the industries push forward all these propaganda films like the one I'm about to show you called Reefer Madness, where they were trying to demonize marijuana despite the fact that our society could use a lot more of this right now to calm everyone the F down. Let's watch this hilarious film, Reefer Madness.
These high school boys and girls are having a hop at the local soda fountain. Innocently they dance. Innocent of a new and deadly menace lurking behind closed doors. Marijuana, the burning weed with its roots in hell. In this film, you will see the ease with which this vicious plant can be grown in your neighbor's yard, rolled into harmless-looking cigarettes, hidden in an innocent shoe or watch case.
If you want a good smoke, try one of these.
You will meet Bill, who once took pride in his strong will as he takes the first step toward enslavement.
Of course, if you're afraid.
Smoking the soul-destroying reefer, they find a moment's pleasure, but at a terrible price. Debauchery, violence, murder, suicide, and the ultimate end of the marijuana addict. Hopeless insanity. See this important film now, before it is too late.
So that movie was absolutely ridiculous, and you can see how people were scared away from it with propaganda films like that because the American sheeple public will believe anything they see on television. Now, in our country, alcohol is legal, smoking cigarettes is legal, but marijuana is illegal. And I'm not going to call it marijuana, it's cannabis. And the reason cannabis is illegal is because anyone can grow it in their own property and grow more than they could ever possibly need. And all the other things you can't do that with. You can't, make your own alcohol and have it be better than what you can get at the store. So the industry is going to take over the cannabis industry by introducing GMO crops so they can control the crops via GMO patenting And the other thing they're going to do is use regulation to push all the small time farmers out and all the small time producers out so that only major corporations and large cannabis producing companies will be the ones controlling the entire industry. Words of Carl Sagan. The illegality of cannabis is outrageous, an impediment to full utilization of a drug which helps produce the serenity and insight, sensitivity and fellowship so desperately needed in this increasingly mad and dangerous world. And that's right, they let you have everything that makes you go crazy and start fighting against one another, like alcohol and cigarettes, and they spray you with chemtrails, which, according to some people, causes more violence in the neighborhoods. And they make cannabis, which would calm everyone down, illegal. Do you see the game plan here? The divide and conquer tactic. To all those people that say cannabis users are potheads and lazy and will never be successful in business life, here's just a quick image of some people that defy that whole narrative. And yeah, maybe Bill Gates is a complete globalist, elitist douchebag, but he still made lots of money and used cannabis. So it's just an example of people that use cannabis that have had successful business lives. Furthermore, in our completely insane pharmacopoeia-filled country, the doctors oppose medical marijuana because it's a quote-unquote gateway drug, yet they hand out Oxycontin and other opiates like it's nothing. And all of that has led to a massive heroin problem that's being fueled by this industry that just hands out, Ritalin and all types of things to kids throughout their lifetime. And then adults, they hand them all these Oxycontin pills and things, which directly leads to them being addicted to these types of things, and then they seek out their addiction on the black market and they end up being heroin addicts. So the drug industry and the pharmacopoeia industry is directly to blame, in my opinion, for the rise of heroin use in this country. We also have tons of people in this country using antidepressant drugs that may cause suicidal thoughts, and it turns out that almost every one of the lone gunman shooters that's went and shot anywhere up, according to the official story, if the shooting was even real, not like Sandy Hook where it's completely fake, but even in that one, I believe they reported the fake Adam Lanza, who does not even exist, was on one of these SSRI pills, and basically they cause all types of problems and things of that nature, and even suicidal thoughts. So if you're already depressed, you take this pill and you may have suicidal thoughts, and God forbid you get marijuana instead, because if you do, in will come these guys, our local militarized police force, to shoot your dog and taser you if you even ask them what they're doing and if they have a warrant. So basically, marijuana has been made illegal for no good reason whatsoever. As Danny DeVito said, even if one doesn't smoke pot, one has to see the benefits of decriminalizing it. And that's 100% correct. And as it's been decriminalized, the federal government is using this for its own advantage. Now let's go over how the Illuminati are going to hijack the legalization and decriminalization of cannabis, which should have been done with no strings attached, but there's plenty strings attached to this one, and you can thank George Soros for that directly. So, in a very unprecedented move, according to most people, billionaire George Soros is one of the major pushers behind marijuana legalization. And this is one of the Illuminati's frontmen. So why would they be pushing for legalization of marijuana? Well, there's three reasons for that. One, they know that they can't stop this populist movement from moving forward, and people are just going to keep smoking it and growing it, so they've decided to hijack it instead of letting it continue on its own. Two, they've decided to take over the market with GMO marijuana and therefore ruining all the independent farming people. And three, they're going to use this for gun control because George Soros is also a major funder of gun control. As you can see on this article on Breitbart, George Soros spends lots of money for gun control, pushing gun control groups and all types of things. So this guy is a major advocate for gun control because the Illuminati want to take the guns away from the people because that gives the people the power. So taking the guns away from them returns all the power to a centralized, militarized government. So in typical bankster fashion, George Soros not only funds the gun control groups, he also owns major pieces of firearm manufacturers. So at the same time, they're pumping out, you know, all the gun control crap in the media and running these false flag and hoaxes to push for gun control. These guys own the firearms industry, so they also profit off of the reverse response, which is all the conservative people running out to buy guns because the government's going to come take our guns and institute martial law any moment. So they're making money off both sides of the same conflict, as they always do, fund both sides of every conflict. And you think Soros does this alone? He doesn't. Democratic Party supporters in investing in the firearms industry, many of the biggest Wall Street donors to President Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, who have both called for stricter gun regulations, are among the largest institutional investors in guns and ammunition manufacturers. While the American Federation of Teachers, a key part of the Democratic Electoral Coalition, has backed gun control proposals, some of the pension savings of its members may be invested in the firearms industry. For example, the California State Teachers Retirement System, which was divested from assault weapons manufacturers, owned $7 million worth of shares in Vista in Olin as of September. So the gun control advocates also own stock and or share or companies in the firearm industry because they know the more gun control to push, the more people are going to go out and buy guns in response. The last time I checked, the Second Amendment was one of the easiest things to read on the planet, and it says our rights to protect ourselves with firearms was not to be infringed. And people like Bloomberg, you can see here on the screen, Obama and Clinton, and all these Democratic elites should shut the hell up about gun control because they all have armed security protecting them with firearms. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, these people are single-handedly, like George Soros, creating the European refugee crisis so that they can benefit off it and push forward their agenda. Why would we want these people to have a monopoly on weapons? We wouldn't. And it's fairly easy if you look for it to tie these people together because they all invest in the same companies together and they all own parts of the same central banks together. So if you take a look at Helios Towers Africa, has some fairly interesting investors in it. So just in this one Helios Towers company alone, you have Madeleine Albright, U.S. Secretary of State. You have RTT Capital Partners, chaired by Lord Rothschild. And you have Soros, Quantum Strategic Partners, all together, all in one company. And this proves that these people do work together. So Madeleine Albright, George Soros, and Lord Jacob Rothschild are all financially connected in their own little syndicate that stems from the central banking system. Here's another article that I'll leave a link to in the description. And at the bottom, there's an excerpt, and it says, George Soros' relation to the secretive international Rothschild finance circle represents no ordinary or casual banking connection. It goes a long way toward explaining the extraordinary success of a mere private speculator and Soros' uncanny ability to gamble right so many times in such high-risk markets. And yes, you don't gamble right all the time. These people are working together to manipulate the markets. And there's another article about oligarch Mikhail Khodorkovsky's conviction and how it exposes the links with Soros and Rothschild. And it's interesting to see the differences between the Russian media over this individual and the Western media. It just goes to show you that both sides are controlled by the various government officials and people like George Soros and Rothschild, because you can clearly see the propaganda coming out either from the East or the West over this issue, and it's all just propaganda, no actual facts. Until you access the alternate media, which is exactly what we're doing here. Here's your answer as to why Soros is funding the legalization of marijuana. Get a medical marijuana card, lose your Second Amendment rights. If you're a medical marijuana patient in one of the 16 states, plus the District of Columbia that allow for it, you've got a reason to believe lately that the government has it in for you. You've got federal raids on places where you can't conveniently buy your medicine. The governor of Arizona trying to overturn in court her citizen's choice to institute a medical marijuana system, and Michigan's attorney general trying to make life as hard as he can for those using the system his state's voters approved by 63% in 2008. And while it isn't directly the government's fault, doctors are taking people off liver transplant waiting lists for using medical pot. Merely having a state medical marijuana card, BATFE, insists means that you fall afoul of Section 922G of the Federal Criminal Code from the 1968 Federal Gun Control Act, which says that anyone who is an unlawful user or addicted to any controlled substances is basically barred from possessing or receiving guns or ammo, with the bogus assertion that such possession implicates interstate commerce, which courts will pretty much always claim that it does. Then, when you buy your gun, you have to fill out Form 4473, requires every gun purchaser to fill it out, and I've filled this out myself, and it says, quote unquote, are you an unlawful user of or addicted to marijuana or any other controlled substance, question mark. And if you fill that out incorrectly, you are in violation of fraud, basically, and can be thrown in jail for that. So you have to violate your Fifth Amendment to answer this correctly or incorrectly, whatever. And as this goes on, this is talking about a case in Nevada where Mrs. Wilson lost her Second Amendment rights because she got a medical marijuana card. And that's what this is all about. That's why they are funding medical marijuana legalization, because once you're registered for medical marijuana, then they can come and take your guns away because you're now violating federal law. And it's that simple. You can either have one or the other. You can either have the Soma of the Brave New World, or you can have your guns. And that's basically what they're pushing here. So that's it. That's why Soros is funding the legalization of marijuana, because he knows that anyone that is using marijuana is violating federal criminal code using a controlled substance, and therefore your federally licensed firearm, your FID card, should be taken away by the federal government because you are violating the law according to them. So that's why Soros is funding this stuff, because he knows that they can eventually use the law, just like they did in Germany, to kick down the door and take your guns away. So that's what this is all about, in my opinion. And this is a pretty widespread problem across America. It's not just the state of Massachusetts where I live. There's plenty of other articles about plenty of other states that have the same issue, like this one from Illinois. And basically, you're not going to be able to fix the problem because it's a federal problem, and the states can't overturn the federal law on it. Even if every state decriminalized and legalized marijuana, it would still be illegal at the federal level. And it's at the federal level where they're handing out the FID cards for firearms licensing. It's just that plain and simple. And the other thing going on here is Bayer and Monsanto are about to merge into one giant GMO super company. And in Canada, they're already doing this, where the GMO guys are pushing out the local farmers that are growing organic weed, and they're now introducing all types of crazy stuff like K2 and GMO weed. And I guarantee you they're going to want GMO cannabis to be all over the marketplace and dominate the marketplace, especially after this merger here. So as many people on this channel know, I'm no Alex Jones fan at all. However, this documentary, How Weed Won the West, was extraordinarily good, and you should go out and watch it anyways. And we're going to go ahead here and see a raid by police that I found online, where they raided one of these dispensaries, and then the police started eating the products and started using the marijuana and playing darts. So totally busted, and even the cops smoke weed. weed needs to be legalized. Cannabis should be legal because it has many medical uses and other uses for industrial things like t-shirts and things like that. It could replace the use of cotton, and it just should be legalized, like completely legalized, and it shouldn't be regulated because regulation just leads to benefiting large multinational corporations and driving out the little guy, which is what they use regulations for.
Get out, please. Clear, clear, clear. Secondary door.
Your hands, buddy. Your hands. Hands up. And search
Hey, you in the jersey. Stand up and turn off that radio. Keep your hands where you see them. There you go.
Pushing on the coat. Pushing up.
Okay, check. Got one more door. Contact on your head.
I'm going to have to talk to you. Keep me tight. Go ahead.
Get out, please.
Fell on. Oh, got it. Like the way. Did we find the DVR? It's probably in here. The DVR? Yeah. I think it's right here. Let's pull it. How'd it go? You're just the latest at Dalfield, man.
I was just a little irritated today, but everything's fine now.
Did you punch that one-legged old?
How was it about the kicker in her fucking knob?
Did you punch that one-legged old?
How was it about the kicker in her fucking knob?
Is that why you were getting irritated?
How was it about the kicker in her fucking knob?
Is it code 4 in here? Real steps to that'd be great. 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 That's 2 of 2, right? DVR from the back office.
DVR back office.
Did you order the food red?
Do not need a small.
Here's another one.
Take like one edible. Louis, the good old days.
What flavor?
Put
That's like a super hit. That's like a super hit.
Yeah, I get the price and the fucking mom when they put it in. Sometimes they like these high powered ones. They fucking light it up and think that a fucking device on the end of it.
Did you order the food red?
Do not!
I bought some of that today.
Is there any cheaper shit here? Oh, really?
And one dude came in and bought a joint. That's it.
Sometimes they don't see cheap, good fat ones with they'll stuff it in there. They'll cap one end. They really cap it like PVC. It's the best way to do it. Drill a tiny hole, put a coffee filter on this one, and get butane lighter, cigar lighter, cigarette lighter, butane lighter. Fucking lighter shit grip.
I would have been like, fuck you, pig.
Right.
I just...
Hey guys, we can take them, let's ride.
Right? Here, I will live there.
Okay.
Fucking on my phone like fucking 45 minutes.
Oh, what's it?
Fuck you, pig.
Right.
I just...
The thing that's purple is the cigarette. You got it.
They do have an answer.
You got lint for drugs.
What? Hey, la feria! And looking at the resource, she told him to come inside, and he said,
He said, I don't come inside. The reason why I'm
"Don't
like,
worry." You know what they're called.
Brando knows. And cash, right? Yeah, safe two. See, safe two had a shitload of edibles.
I didn't get
Edible ones.
that one that you just sealed, I didn't get it.
Fire department's
97 state.
Already?
Oh, yeah. 4.
They're in the parking lot. Hey, they want to play.
9.9. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you bring that last box in, or have them bring it in?
You're here. Okay, what do you need? Just one sample?
Yeah.
Okay. It needs to be resealed too?
No, no,
No,
no.
hold on.
Ooh. On another envelope, write, Safe 2, edible sample.
Oh. Go through edible, sir. Safe 4 sample.
Or I'm sorry, Safe 4, edible sample.
There you go.
Go there again.
Is it like I can try it? Or?
Yeah.
Fire here, watch your mouth. Did we find safe?
Thus proving the point of this picture entirely. Every government needs its useful idiots. And that's exactly how hemp and cannabis became illegal in the first place. Anything that is super productive shouldn't be taken out of society, especially when you're going to push cotton as the answer for everything that you're making hemp illegal to use for. And cotton is nowhere near as effective as hemp in terms of, saving the environment, which is, I thought, what we're all supposed to be about these days. So let's go ahead and see this short, funny little film on the history of hemp.
The history of hemp. Year 0, the Big Bang. The universe begins 150 million years ago. Plants debut, including hemp. The dinosaurs didn't notice. 800 BC, China. The first cloth fabric is made from hemp. 1200 BC, hemp fiber is used to construct the pyramids. 1425, knights drink hemp beer. 1492, Columbus floats to America using hemp sails and rope. Dang it! 1776, the Declaration of Independence is drafted on hemp paper. 1889, Van Gogh paints masterpieces on hemp canvas. 1942, patriotic farmers plant hemp crop for war effort. 1970, the Controlled Substances Act is signed into law. Industrial hemp is classified as marijuana, and farming it becomes illegal.
There's so many variations on hemp fabrics these days. I mean, you can get the hemp silk, the hemp denim, hemp suede. There is hemp twill, hemp muslin, and they're just They're beautiful fabrics that are all very breathable, comfortable, washable. You can tell the difference when you have the fabric in front of you and you feel it. It's just a quality thing. A lot of the fabric that I'm buying is actually grown in China or in Canada, but the majority is in China. And it would just be amazing if it were grown here, and it would be a lot cheaper as well, because right now it's definitely one of the more expensive fabrics out there.
An eco-audit was done in Canada where they grew a hectare of conventional cotton and a hectare of conventional hemp and did the comparisons. And it was about 2,000 liters per t-shirt saving of water and about a cup of pesticides and agrochemicals. Hemp provides about 250% more fiber per hectare than cotton. So every shirt is making a difference.
So my solution to all this is to grow your own ganja on your own property and don't let the corporate giants take over another industry just like they've done to everything else on our planet. Finally, I'd like everyone to get this idea in their head and help me spread it throughout society. And that idea is that the prohibition of cannabis has done nothing good for society. Even if you do not like to smoke marijuana, or cannabis, or ganja, or whatever you want to call it, you shouldn't be allowed to take that privilege and right away from other people just because you don't like something. We need to get past this idea that we can legislate a better world. We can't. Anarchist systems are the best systems out there, and letting people do what they want is the only way to have a peaceful society, as long as what they want to do doesn't involve harming others. Now let's watch this hilarious clip I've been waiting to use this entire video from Pineapple Express on how weed became illegal. And I'll be back soon, so thanks for watching.
When did it start?
At 0500. We're 7 minutes in. Okay, Private Miller.
You've been smoking item 9 for 7 minutes and 13 seconds. We're going to ask you several questions.
How do you feel?
Well, sir, I feel like a slice of butter melting on top of a big old pile of flapjacks. Yeah.
Okay, Private Miller. When you think of your superiors,
What emotions do you feel?
Okay, Private Miller.
Is this normal?
Okay, Private Miller. Okay, Private Miller. Private Miller. Answer the question.
This one out, sir. Can you torch me?
We'll send someone in.
Holy bejesus.
Private Miller, answer the question.
What was the question again, sir?
When you think of your superiors, what emotions do you feel?
You know what problem I have with your fucking little dog and pony act you call the military? Here it is. 1, lots of dudes.
Where are the boobies? 2,
Why are we underground right now, sir? Why can't we be out in the open? Why aren't we in a square right now? Why aren't we talking to people, letting them know Item 9 exists? Get it out, shout at the rooftops. This is great. This is the bee's knees, Item 9.
Private, we need you to be serious.
I'm serious. Your dick, my mouth.
That's inappropriate.
Fuck you.
I've seen enough. Shut it down. Bury the hatch, sell the land, and dispose of him. This never happened.
Dude, what happened to your eye? Hey, hello. Bleep, blort, bleep, bleep, blurt, blurt. Can you guys understand me? Hey, where we going?
This is General Bratt. We've reached a final conclusion on Item 9. Illegal!
Hashtag Illuminati confirmed.
And it was written up in the book of life that a man shall endure forevermore.
Well, did you know the pen is stronger than the knife? And they can kill you once, but they can't kill you twice. Did you know destruction of the flesh is not the ending to life? Fear not of the Antichrist. Did you know that I exist before the earth? And did you know my eyes are windows to the world? Did you know you can't go as Zion and now wear Jerry curse? Can't tell the boys from the girls. Your body's just a vehicle transporting your soul. It's what's inside of people is beauty.